I was 20 years old when this strange thing happened. I was a junior at a large university in Pennsylvania. I had spent my first 2 years living in off-campus housing with a group of friends, but over the summer, we started having disagreements, so I decided to live in the dorms for the fall semester. I thought that living quietly on campus would help me focus on my studies. However, even though I wanted to live in a single room, I was temporarily placed in a random room due to overcrowding and told that I would have to wait until a single room became available. I was going to wait for that. The friend in the room I was placed in was called Marcus. He was already there when I arrived and was sitting on the bed facing the wall. He had his headphones on and didn't even look up when I walked in. I wanted to get his attention and had to clear my throat and wave. He just gave me a quick nod and barely smiled. He wasn't rude, just disinterested. I quietly unpacked my suitcase and gave him his space. I've had roommates before, and so I didn't mind, because I know some people are just weird. That night around 9 o'clock, he was already in bed. The lights were off, and he had a blanket over his head. I wasn't very sleepy, so I stayed awake for a bit, turned my phone to low brightness, and scrolled through it for a bit. I remember looking at Marcus and thinking that he hadn't moved at all. He hadn't moved once. He was just lying there stiff. He was pretending to sleep. It was strange, but it was nothing important. The first real sign that something was wrong came on the third day. I was a bit hungry, and when I ran downstairs to the vending machines to get a snack, I had left my laptop open on the table. It wasn't password protected, and that was lazy of me. When I came back, the screen was black from a period of inactivity, but when I tapped the trackpad, my Chrome browser opened. My email was open, but not only was it open, I dug deep into old conversations. I recognized someone from my senior year of high school, a conversation I hadn't even thought about in years. I froze. I looked at Marcus, lying on his bed with his eyes closed. Without saying a word, I closed the browser and locked the screen. That night, I put a password on everything. He hadn't done anything scary yet, but there was something about the way he moved that bothered me. It was quiet and measured. It was like he was taking care not to make a sound. I began to realize that little things were missing. Nothing of value was missing, it was just strange. A pair of socks, a half-used deodorant, a photo of me and my sister at a fair, taped to the edge of my desk. All of them have gone, I once said to him directly. I said, "Hey Marcus, have you seen a photo standing here?" He looked at me and said no, with a completely blank expression. Then I turned around and continued writing what I was writing. About 2 weeks later, I woke up one night and realized that I was not alone in the room, which was not strange because I already had a roommate. What was strange was this: Marcus was not in his bed. When I turned my head, I saw that the covers were pulled up and there was no pillow. Then I felt a presence. I slowly turned towards my desk and Marcus was sitting there. He was sitting in the dark, in my chair, facing me. He was just watching. He was watching me without blinking, not moving. He was like a statue. I couldn't see his expression, just the silhouette of his head and shoulders. I whispered, "Marcus?" He didn't answer. I turned on the lamp. He blinked his eyes. Then he slowly stood up and said, "I'm sorry, I thought I heard something." Then I went back to bed. The next morning I asked for a room change. The housing manager said they would put me on a waiting list. I didn't want to wait. I wanted to change my room as soon as possible. I even thought about moving off campus, but it was the middle of the semester and I had no money. So I stayed. But I started to be cautious. I started to lock my things. My backpack was zippered and hidden. My laptop was locked. My phone was always with me. I even started sleeping with the closet door closed. And I started keeping a diary. It wasn't a diary for thinking, it was just for documenting. Dates, times, notes of little things I noticed. October 11th. When I came back, the drawer was slightly open. October 13th, food missing from the fridge. October 14th, my boxer shorts were gone. October 16th, I woke up. The blanket was slightly open. The phone moved. No evidence. Just notes. The breaking point came 2 weeks later. I came back from class to find Marcus at my desk, at my computer. I could tell he hadn't heard me come in. I asked him sharply, "What the hell are you doing?" He froze, then he smiled. "I was checking my email," he said calmly. "On my computer?" I asked. He shrugged and said, "It was on." For my password-protected computer, the next morning I emailed the dormitory staff and asked to move out, and I also gave a report to campus security about what had happened. They were polite and even sympathetic, but they said there was not much they could do unless there was a direct threat or physical harm. For 2 nights I slept on the couch in the hall, and when other students asked why, I just told them that my roommate was weird. On the 3rd day, I went back to get some clothes and Marcus wasn't there. When I opened my drawer, I found a notebook, and it wasn't mine. It was his notebook, and there was writing in it. Pages and pages of writing, but it wasn't about him. It was about me. Every page was full of detailed notes. What I said, what I wore, what I ate, the exact times I left the room. Even the things I mutter in my sleep. Pages and pages and pages about me. Some things were written in the second person. "You laughed in your sleep last night. I think it was about her. You are better alone. People ruin you. You haven't noticed the camera yet. That's good." Wait a minute. Camera? I froze. I searched the room. I checked the vents. I checked the light fixtures. And finally I found it. A small black camera tucked behind the top bookcase, pointing at my bed. I took pictures. I emailed them to security. This time they took action. Marcus was evicted from the dorm the next morning. They said it was an invasion of privacy. He didn't argue. He didn't say a word. He just packed his bag and left. They didn't say where he went. Later, I heard from a friend in another building that Marcus had been temporarily moved to another dormitory. The investigation was ongoing. The campus police questioned me. They took the notebook, the camera, and my laptop for examination. They told me I was in no legal danger. Marcus had no criminal record. They said they would handle this internally. They advised me to change my passwords, monitor my social media accounts, and report anything suspicious. I moved into a new single room and slept with the light on for a week. Sometimes I still sleep with the light on. Even though it's been over a year, I occasionally check the peephole before I leave my room. I double-check my locks and turn off my webcam. I don't know what Marcus wanted. Was he obsessed? Was he delusional? Was he dangerous? Or was he just lonely? I try not to think about it, but sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night and feel a change in the air, I still wonder, what if I had never found that notebook?